first day, it's a general orientation, and then you kind of get a chance to talk to the other students that are shown up. And there's everything from university professors to entrepreneurs to millennial hippies with dreads, and a little bit of everything in between. And there's about 40 guys and 40 girls, and we all get designated our different rooms to sleep in and stuff like that, and we run through, you know, the rules of conduct and stuff like that, sign up, do the admin processing. And I get to talk to some of the dudes that look pretty interesting to me, and I've always been cool with, you know, like the ex-hippie crowd, or whatever you want to call them, neo-hippie. I've always been interested in psychedelics. At the time I was reading a lot about John Hopkins' medical research on use of psilocybe mushrooms, you know, magic mushrooms, and its effects on people. I had read the studies done in Arizona by a medical doctor out there on the DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and what it was doing to people in clinical medical studies. I was really into LSD. I've not taken it myself. I'm just an enthusiast in information. And here were a bunch of people that were hardcore psychonauts. I mean, they had done a good amount of miles in the DMT, mushrooms, the whole thing. For all intrinsic reasons, very intelligent people. A little bit off the standard path, but intelligent. And I got to know them, and you know, just socializing before the 10-day start. Now at the meditation retreat, the first 3 days, they just teach you mindfulness, breathing meditation. And after you've generated a total of 3 days of, you don't have to have any meditation experience from before. It would help, but you don't need it. They teach you everything you need to know there. So 3 days of mindfulness, which I'm relatively good at, and the feedback I'm getting is that they give you certain keys to sort of benchmark yourself against to see if you're proficient, medium, or kind of struggling. If you're struggling, just don't care, just keep going. And it turns out I'm on the reasonably proficient side of things, surprisingly enough. So in Vipassana, so after day 3, they teach you the actual Vipassana technique, which is applying mindfulness attention. And basically you apply that technique to scan your body for body sensations. And then they teach you very specific mental processes to incorporate while you're doing this, so that you do not create attachment or aversion to sensory input to the mind. And there's many other things going on, and literally what you're doing is you're kind of letting all this stuff in your subconscious sort of bubble up and run its course, so that you can clean out the baggage. And what happens to a lot of people as you're doing this is that you can get spontaneous visuals in your mind, in your mind's eye, as your inner eye activates. The third eye, right? But in Vipassana, they don't focus on paying any attention to that. You just observe it, move on. Don't put too much weight and effort into it. They usually correlate with a state of could be blissful state, you know, like you get to this state in meditation where it's like you don't feel the pain in your body anymore, you're just cruising, you're completely on flow state, man, you're killing it type of thing, you know. It's like the runner's high when you're running marathons. Suddenly you're on the second wind, and man, you could just run twice as long. You get this sort of elated experience, and then certain things show up. For me, I was getting a fair share of these things, and it would be everything from flames, skulls, just a whole lot of things, even eyes. And then many times you would see arrays, almost like people standing, like marching in one of those like military marches or something. But you would see like almost like statues, people standing in geometric arrays, all lined up, right? And one time, as I was having sort of like this benchmark experience where you really know that you've reached somewhere in your technique and you're having this elated state, I saw a spontaneous visualization where I can see myself sitting kind of in front of me, and it is reminiscent of like 90s music video graphics, like kind of bad, but you get the idea. And it's almost as if I'm looking at a mannequin of myself and I'm slightly above it behind, and the inside of my body form, the silhouette of my body form is hollow, but it's filled, or it's not like I'm wearing clothes or nothing like that, it's just like this outline, and then inside it is like this latticework, a white latticework. Latticework is basically like, I just look it up on Google. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, but keep going. I was putting everything I had into this, I was really, really making every moment count. And what's funny is that the next day, I told you like at the evenings they would have these Dharma talks. The next evening, the meditation teacher, S.N. Goenka, in this case, it's a pre-recording of S.N. Goenka. He died in like 2013, I believe, or something like that, 2009. He's talking about what a lot of meditators through the world, thousands by now, and many years of this, have reported. There's a certain cluster of common visualizations and experience spaces that they seem a lot of advanced meditators of this technique eventually report having, and they all sound generally the same. And guess what? The day after I saw that vision in my session, he's talking about advanced meditators that have done this for like a few years at least, often claim that they see a form of themselves with a latticework inside. Take it for what it is what it is. But at least it's something that many have shared to have seen once they've done this for a lot of hours for many years. And I was like, okay, man, like, makes me feel great, because this is my first session ever, first meditation retreat, and I guess I'm killing it, right? But actually, you're so grounded through this meditation that you're not necessarily doing backflips of joy or nothing. You're just okay. You're like so calm, man. It's already there. You could almost look at a nuclear explosion blow up in front of you. All you'd say is, I wish I was closer so I didn't die from radiation, Everything is transient. You hardly care, And it feels great. It's just like, yeah, whatever, And I had a few more of these sort of weird experiences. And they were sort of vindications that I was definitely progressing faster than is usual for somebody that's going to their first 10-day session. And it's so preposterous to say that I didn't even bother mentioning it. because the teacher there would have been like, yo, shut up, man, get out of here, you know. Who the hell are you? This is a freaking lie, man, you know. And, but I should mention, telling lies is something that you've completely divorced yourself of early in your spiritual journey. I mean, if you're quaffing out lies early in your spiritual journey, then you got problems, man. I will hold you to that myself. You totally lose the appetite for BS, right? There's so much spewing out BS in the world, so you're just like, yeah, okay, screw that, man. I'm not going to be another source for that, you know? There's a few things you can control in this world, and that is what you put out. So I decided to not contribute to in my little way, not contribute to the garbage.